Boy, oh boy. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the Farzy Show presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Mark Farzetta with you. Wow, what a weekend. Sixers seem to be in free fall, going up against two top-tier teams. The Warriors used to be a top-tier team. Haven't been a top-tier team this year. Played like a top-tier team against the Sixers. That's cool. The Suns handle their business against the Sixers as well. Doc Rivers talking about more rest for Joel Embiid. I know James Harden hasn't played. This is a double OT game where he scored 5 points against the Bulls at home. So the Sixers are having some struggles right now. We had a lot of confidence going into the weekend, and it hit the fan, unfortunately. And not a lot of people are having as much fun as they were on Friday. Dave Dombrowski addressed the media about Reese Hoskins. We went to those comments. We'll also get to the comments of Derek Hall, what he told Alex Coffey of Inquirer.com about taking over the first base responsibilities. Dave Dombrowski saying it looks like it is going to be Derek Hall. We'll hear from him later on. And the Eagles get a safety. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Terrell Edmunds is now your starting safety, taking over for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, playing next to Reed Blankenship in the Eagles secondary, at least for now. And also, Elliott Shore-Park started the rumors of a potential Howie Roseman trade, something that reeks of a Howie Roseman trade, potentially on draft day. I told you, potentially, they could be moving on from that 30th overall pick, packaging that to either move back in the draft or potentially packaging that to get picks later in the draft, and also make a deal like they did for A.J. Brown, including the same team that they made the deal with for A.J. Brown. So all that and more on the Farzy Show today in a jam-packed weekend. But let's start it off with our Philadelphia Eagles. Terrell Edmunds gets introduced. And what's the thing I told you? Now, look at this. Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network put this out there, saying that the Eagles are signing former Steelers first-round pick Terrell Edmunds, according to sources, second safety added in the last week after allowing CJ Gardner-Johnson to head to Detroit. He gets a one-year deal. Some more details did come out on that deal that we'll get into a little bit later in the show. One of the things that I did find, actually, here are the details right here. Terrell Edmunds' one-year deal is worth $2 million with $600,000 guaranteed. A far cry from the $8 million that you saw Chauncey Gardner-Johnson get from the Detroit Lions. So this might tell you that the Eagles were willing to spend about in this realm for a safety in this spot here. Now, the interesting thing is that he does play in the box a lot more often. When you were looking at potentially adding a Keanu Neal, for instance, you're talking about a linebacker, a box safety at best. Now you're actually adding a box safety in Edmunds. I find this deal very interesting. The Eagles do like to have that type of versatility when it comes to the safety position, but Edmunds, for the most part, has played in the box. So we saw Malcolm Jenkins play down there a lot. We saw Chauncey Gardner-Johnson play down there a lot. Now we have somebody else that the Eagles are going to be bringing in here to try to have that same type of versatility here with the Eagles. So look forward to seeing what he can do here. I still don't think the Eagles are done. I do think there's a draft day move that Howie Roseman is going to pull off, and that's what I was alluding to earlier. This coming by way of our friend Elliott Shore-Parks. No trade screams Howie Roseman more than a trade for Jeffrey Simmons. It is interesting to me. Javon Hargrave leaves. The Eagles hope Jordan Davis can step up his snap count this upcoming season. We know Fletcher Cox, I don't think he's going to be getting any better as this year goes on. I had my worries about him last year. When we talked to our friend Bradley Gouton last week, he said the same thing. Let's talk about what two plays could you mention last week or last year from Fletcher Cox? And like, those were the game-changing plays of Fletcher Cox. Those were the plays that Fletcher Cox really stepped up and made plays for you. Yeah, there's not many. Few and far between. Now, maybe he's eating up those double teams more often. Maybe he's facing those double teams more often. But this type of deal right here for Jeffrey Simmons does, I 1,000% agree with Elliott on this. This does reek of Howie Roseman. Maybe a little dysfunction in the organization. Maybe the Titans looking to make a deal, looking to move on from another key cog in the wheel, if you will. And just 25 years old, that jumps out to me. If Howie Roseman's going to be making a deal, if Howie Roseman's going to be willing and dealing again, possibly with the Titans, this is a deal that I could see him making on draft day. Now, the rumor comes out of NFL Negotiations here, which is a Twitter account here, NFL Notified. Rumor is the Titans GM Ron Carthen, desires to do a full rebuild his own way. All veterans will likely be available at the right price, including Jeffrey Simmons. So, allegedly on the trading block, looking for a rebuild, you might want this 30th overall pick. And the Eagles should certainly use another defensive tackle. We all know how they like to have their rotations on the defensive line. He does have 1 year left on his contract, so you could be inking him to a longer-term deal after this season. Maybe you don't need to if you have a guy like, let's say, Jordan Davis really stepping up in that role. But either way, you have a proven commodity coming in here to Philadelphia. He would be playing next to another younger defensive tackle, hopefully for years to come, in Jordan Davis. Fletcher Cox, I know I said this last year when he signed the $14 million 1 year deal after he was released and then brought back. I don't see Fletcher Cox here beyond this year. Last year I thought was a stretch. This year I feel like it's the stretch that's going to break eventually. Like the bend but don't break. I think this is the end of the Fletcher Cox run here in Philadelphia. But Jeffrey Simmons is a very interesting pickup if the Eagles do decide to go that direction. And one more thing here, just to rattle this off, foundational position that Howie Roseman believes in, defensive tackle. We know that. Position of need. It is a position of need. Only 25 years old. Okay, 1 year left on his deal. Yeah, that does reek of Howie Roseman. Reek. I know you could all pull up the picture of Howie Roseman with the binoculars. He'd be looking at this one. Credit to Elliot for thinking of that one there. But it is something that the Eagles do need. It is something that the Eagles have always coveted, and it's something that the Eagles always seem to covet. No matter how many defensive linemen they have, they always seem to be in the market for a new one. As far as Terrell Edmunds goes, I find this deal very interesting. A former 27th overall pick, a guy that has played aggressive in the box, a guy that's not afraid to play downhill, can still be the deepest man on the field, and give all the versatility that the Eagles like to give. I don't think that this is talked about enough when it comes to fans and media. A lot of players can play in a lot of different places. They can make money in a lot of different places. But when you have a good working environment, when you have good culture, when you like the locker room, when you like the coaching staff, when you like the front office, it all seems to come together nicely. And probably above all that, when it comes to the locker room, if that's the next level, and these are all guys that you really could see yourself playing with, and guys that hold each other accountable, and guys that have that good culture, then that's a place you want to play. Terrell Edmunds was addressing the media over the weekend, and he talked about one of the draws, not just to the locker room, but to the city of Philadelphia.
Talking and learning about the culture of Philadelphia, about the Eagles, and everything that the Eagles stand on. I think that's something that really I fell in love with. Just going out there, just having that dog mentality, just putting everything out there on the line for the person beside you and just playing together as one. I think that's something that really drove me to come here.
Culture? Did he say culture?
Talking and learning about the culture of
the culture of not just the locker room, but the city of Philadelphia. We're lovable. We're very lovable. We might not be able to drink our water right now, but possibly. But we got the good culture. That's what we got right now. They said it's okay for now, and we'll see if the water's better later. But now I'm not in the city, so I'm going to be bringing in cases of water to friends of mine in the city of Philadelphia. So I'll tell you more on that later. But he loves the culture here in Philly, as it seems like everyone that comes in here just loves that buzzword that it's become, the culture in the Eagles locker room. That of the Fletcher Coxes of the world, that of the Brandon Grahams of the world, that of the Jason Kelce's of the world, that of Nick Sirianni. If you meet Nick Sirianni, you just want to play for this guy. And from everything I've heard about Sean Desai, it's the same type of thing. This guy just loves his players, and players, for whatever reason, seem to love him back. Despite not an ample amount of experience as a defensive coordinator, people still know his reputation, know who he's coached under, and look forward to learning from the guy and looking forward to seeing what he can also do as your defensive coordinator. So I look forward to seeing how all that comes together for the Philadelphia Eagles, but those are the deals that they made. And now I think we're in a little bit of a holding pattern here between now and the NFL draft to see what direction the Eagles go. I think that they're going to go defensive line. I'd love to say corner. I'd love to say safety. It's quite possible that they do go those directions. I don't think they go offensive line. I know nobody likes the offensive line picks. They don't find them sexy. I know that sometimes they're very necessary. This particular instance, I don't think they're wildly necessary, but I see the Eagles going defense in this draft. And then later in the draft, I do see them using that 30th overall pick. Maybe not on Jeffrey Simmons, but maybe somewhere else. I think what they'll end up doing is trading. I don't think they make a selection at 30. I think they end up moving back or acquiring another asset, whether that's more picks or that's Jeffrey Simmons. That remains to be seen, but I don't see the Eagles making 2 first-round selections in the upcoming draft. This I saw, I think it was Friday, shortly after the show, and I just thought this was one of the classiest things I've seen. And I know I've been telling you guys, if you're not following Alex Coffey of Inquirer.com, you're missing out on some great spring training coverage. She puts it out there on Friday. This afternoon, Derek Hall saw Rhys Hoskins at his locker. He gave him a hug, and Hall said, "I'm sorry, this is really rough." So let's pause right there for a second. Last week, I talked about how I'm literally heartbroken for Rhys Hoskins. Like, this was his not prove it year, but this is his contract year. This is the go out there, put up big numbers, and either you're going to get a big deal from the Phillies, you're going to go out there and get a big deal somewhere else. And I was really rooting for the guy. I was hoping not just for him, but for the Phillies. He does well, the Phillies do well. That's kind of hand in hand there. And plus, what this lineup could be with Rhys Hoskins hitting 30 bombs as well, that'd be pretty nice. So we know how much this year meant to Rhys Hoskins, both financially and professionally overall. So let's pick it back up with the tweet here. Hall gives Hoskins a hug and says it was really tough. Hoskins responds to the guy that's going to be getting the opportunity. Instead of Hoskins getting the opportunity of his life to make that big-time deal, Derek Hall is going to get the opportunity of his life to prove he could be a big league ball player. So Hoskins says to Hall, "Actually, I'm happy for you," Hoskins replied. Hall was moved, but wasn't surprised. This is who Hoskins has always been. The story goes on to talk about, and Alex Coffey spent the weekend putting stories out there from the Eagles or from the Phillies clubhouse about how respected Rhys Hoskins is, how some teammates do refer to him as the captain. He's the longest tenured guy here. He's the guy that everyone knew in the lineup that came in last year, the year before that, and the year before that. They all came in here to a Rhys Hoskins team. The guy's the homegrown talent. Him and Aaron Nola, the homegrown talent in this organization that's been around a long time compared to other guys just donning the Phillies red pinstripes. They look at him as a leader. Maybe not the leader anymore, but certainly a leader. And I know it could be overused in a lot of sports that aren't hockey, but man, you watch Rhys Hoskins in this clubhouse walk around and you read stories about what these guys or how these guys look at him as a leader and look at him as their captain. And now this guy is going to be stepping aside out for the year with an ACL tear. And it does break your heart. It's very upsetting to think about it from a human aspect. Then you think about it from a Phillies aspect. And yes, this sucks. The guy you thought you were going to be playing first base for you, that's not going to be happening. But the guy that now is going to be playing first base for you is most likely Derek Hall. Dave Dombrowski addressed the media on Friday and talked about what Derek Hall could possibly be bringing to the table here as the new Phillies everyday first baseman, his job to lose.
We have an extra topic, but I do feel comfortable to say that we like Derek Hall a lot. So we feel that he'll get the majority of the playing time at first base. Now, how much he gets, that's of course be up to Rob, but we think he's ready to step up and be a big league player, and so he's a guy that we'll look to get the majority of those at-bats with him.
I would love to see Derek Hall just mash, just go out there and mash. And here's what I'd really love to see. Last year could not hit left-handed pitching. All 9 of his home runs were against right-handed pitching. He hit 260 plus against right-handed pitching and like 090 against left-handed pitching. It was not a lot to brag about for Derek Hall. All right. To be exact, he hit 083 against lefties in only 12 at bats, mind you. Hit 266 against righties with 9 home runs and a 300 on base percentage. Yeah, he hits righties. All right. The lefties thing, bit of a struggle for the 27-year-old Derek Hall. I like sink or swim moments. I don't know if the Phillies are going to handle it this way or the other, but I think what the Phillies are going to end up doing, I think, is starting them out against righties, breaking them in against lefties as the season goes on. I would love a sink or swim moment. Here's your moment. Try to hit both. Got a left-handed pitcher out there? All right, have at it, young fella. Let's see what you got. I think the Phillies are going to ease him into the position. I think they're going to flip him with Alec Boehm at first base. I know Nick Castellanos said last year he wasn't interested in playing first base. Now you have an opportunity to make him play at first base. JT Realmuto is a guy that is no one's mentioned yet. JT Realmuto never played first base up until 2 years ago. All of a sudden, they're going to give him a day off and say, all right, you got the day off. He goes, well, how about I play first base? And they're like, great idea. And he starts playing first base. That's insane. Not everybody can handle that mentally, but JT Realmuto can handle it mentally. I want him behind the plate. Don't get me wrong. But before we start breaking the glass on the emergency that is Nick Castellanos, I'd rather see JT Realmuto maybe get that opportunity to play out there as well if he keeps his bat in the lineup. If he wants a break from behind the plate, squatting for 9 innings, maybe this will help him out, get at first base a little bit, get him off his knees just a little bit to help the Phillies out. Just as, again, in case of emergency break glass. My first thing is give it to Derek Hall, see how he does. If he starts hitting lefties, then he's an everyday first baseman. Forget about platooning. If Alec Boehm starts going over there and he starts playing a lot better and Edmundo Sosa shows that he could be a much better third baseman, which I know he can be, just in terms of the defensive aspect of first base, then you unleash the hounds as far as that goes. But yeah, the Phillies have plenty of discussions to go into the regular season, which is, let's see here. This week, ladies and gentlemen. Can you smell that? Can you smell that Phillies baseball in the air? I know I can, and I can't wait for more of it. It just seems like when baseball season does start and Phillies first pitch happens and Aaron Nola, and we'll get into his contract discussion in a second, but it just seems like, man, when that first pitch gets thrown, it just gets a couple degrees warmer. And I know that's pretty literal with the season change, but it expedites the process as far as I'm concerned. There is conversation about the Phillies. Apparently, Aaron Nola and the Phillies breaking off contract negotiations once the season starts. I know a lot of people look at this as a doom and gloom moment. I do not. I think the push come to shove moment does happen after this season. Now, this could start the wheels in motion. It has put the wheels in motion for the possibility of him testing the free agency market after this year. My thought is good. Aaron Nola is going to get paid, but Aaron Nola is only going to get paid if he has a great year. And John Middleton has already proven to us that he is willing to spend the money he and the triumvirate of him and the Buck Cousins. They're willing to spend the money to keep talent on this roster. Aaron Nola goes out there, has a great year. I mean, we talk about Rhys Hoskins having a proven year with that big contract. He and Nola were both on contract negotiations with the Phillies. Got to break it off by the time the season starts. Well, obviously, that ship has sailed right now for Rhys Hoskins, but Aaron Nola is still very much in that same boat. Is he going to be put forth a great year, another Cy Young candidacy year, and really cash in the offseason? Phillies are going to be willing to pay the price. I know there's going to be other teams to compete. I'm not saying there'll be a hometown discount. I'm just looking for hometown consideration to stay put here in Philadelphia. He's already going to be in a good rotation. Zach Wheeler in front of him. He's going to have Taijuan Walker behind him in this lineup. We'll see what happens with Ranger Suarez and his injury. Hopefully, a guy like Andrew Painter coming in at some point this season. This is a good spot to be. A lineup to back you up. I know we can always talk about run support, but if you're a starting pitcher, this is a great spot to be. You've already pitched in a World Series here. This is a great spot to be. And yes, you can get paid here in Philadelphia still, even after 2 separate $300 million deals go to a couple of guys in this lineup, in Trey Turner and Bryce Harper. So I don't look at this as a doom and gloom moment. Is it the best possible thing? No, but maybe it's the best possible thing for right now, where Aaron Nola goes out there with a little bit more of an edge. Instead of making around the $12 million this year, he could be eyeing out, wow, if I really make things happen, I could be in the $30, $40 million range. I could be making things happen at a much higher level, financially speaking, for myself. I don't look at it as the doom and gloom. I look at it as what could be the ultimate motivation for Aaron Nola. And the best part about it is now you have an ownership group that's willing to pay. So if Aaron Nola wants to stay here in Philadelphia, he's still going to get paid. There's not going to be hometown discount. He's going to get paid. But the motivation of still not having a contract done going into this year, I think only helps the situation as far as the Phillies' success goes for 2023. Oh, what about 2024? I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Because I know that Middleton, the Buck cousins, they're going to buck up the Bucks to pay Aaron Nola, if that's what it comes down to. This ain't the olden days where I'm terrified about the Phillies not spending money. They're spending money. It ain't my money, but they're spending it. So I know they're going to keep the man. Well, this was pretty awesome. This came up after the show on Friday. I got a text message from, now, as you guys know, I'm the PA announcer for the Philadelphia Wings lacrosse team, and it's so much fun. It's such a great time. And Saturday, we had the Wings game against Halifax, the Thunderbirds. And they asked me, because the Flyers played at 1 o'clock. The Wings game was at 7 o'clock. So they said, we're trying to promote the Wings game at night. Hey, come to the Flyers game, stay for the Wings game at night. So I guess they were hoping people would go to the Flyers game, go to Xfinity, tailgate in the parking lot, and then come back for the Wings game. And that's exactly what a lot of people did. A lot of people came out to the Wings game, which was incredible. But I get a text message late on Friday, and they say, hey, do you want to bang the drum at the Flyers game, the 1 o'clock Flyers game on Saturday, trying to promote people to stay for the Wings game? And I'm like, hell yeah. So if you're not familiar, because I know we haven't talked a lot of hockey on the show, unfortunately, because the Flyers haven't really given us a big reason to talk about the Flyers hockey. But they said, you want to bang the drum? I'm like, hell yeah. I'm a huge Flyers fan. Always been a huge Flyers fan. I want to bang the drum. So I go up there. They got the drum set up. For those that don't know, it's like the Sixers ringing the bell before the game. The Flyers bang the drum. So they asked me, do you want to bang the drum? And the game day presentation producer, okay, she says to me, all right, when you bang the drum, okay, so Everett, who's like the in-arena host, Everett is going to tell you, let's go Flyers, and then you bang the drum, bump, bump, ba-da-dum, and I'm like, okay, and then they'll do that 3 times. I go, you got it. I just go, bump, bump, ba-da-dum, and she goes, no, it's bump, bump, ba-da-dum, and I go, okay, hold on a second. It's let's go Flyers, bump, bump, ba-da-dum. And she goes, no, it's let's go Flyers, bop, bop, ba-da-da. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, so yes, for the people that have seen the movie Private Parts, Howard Stern Private Parts, WNBC, okay? Hearing the same thing. So finally I go, has it been changed? Because it's been a minute since I've been to a Flyers game. Did you guys change the Let's Go Flyers thing? And she's like, no, it's the same one. I go, the same one like forever. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I think I got it. So sure enough, they hand me the mallet, bang the drum, and all was right with the world. And then the Flyers won 3-0. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You like that Flyers win? It basically means I'm the captain of the Flyers. There's no captain. I bang the drum better than anybody. Bang. 3-0 victory. Bang. I'm the captain of the Flyers. That's how that works. So it was a great honor to do that, to be a part of the game day atmosphere there. Hear the great Lou Nolan do his thing was incredible. And then, unfortunately, the Wings took a tough L to Halifax. It was a rough one. But a fun night, as it always is the Wings. Last game, April 2nd. That's a Sunday, 6 p.m. Face-off. But yeah, so that was the weekend. That was a fun-filled, action-packed weekend for yours truly. Let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Ladies and gentlemen, trust my man Steven Singer, who has the perfect price each and every day online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Now, what's the perfect price? Well, other jewelers are marking things way up just to mark them down a couple of bucks. Steven Singer is keeping them at that perfect price so you always feel comfortable every single day. Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, perfect price, online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Let me tell you about the amazing people at Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Use promo code Farzy to get 20% off and free shipping at Manscaped.com. You'll enjoy their Platinum Package 4.0. which includes skin-safe technology, and it's incredible when you talk about their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, as well as their incredible Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. And like I said, skin-safe technology, so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. So check out manscaped.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off and free shipping. How about Freestone Farms CBD? FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off. You like CBD? You use CBD? You want to try a different CBD? Try Freestone Farms CBD. Perfect for after a workout to help you relax. Perfect at the end of a long day to help you relax and lull you to sleep. Freestone Farms CBD is the way to go. You'll enjoy their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. Genetics of these guys are off the charts. So try Freestone Farms CBD, FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. You'll love it. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Before I go any further, I want to get this now. So, again, I know I started the show by mentioning the fact that the 76ers have not had James Harden since their double OT loss to the Chicago Bulls. But the Sixers have lost to the Warriors. The Sixers, that was a tough one. Jordan Poole just started going off late in that game, and not much you could do there. Golden State Warriors. Perimeter defense has really killed the Sixers in these last two games in particular. Golden State right now are, 2 games over 500. They decided to turn it on against the Sixers. I know it would be a much different game if James Harden was out there on the floor. A healthy James Harden was out there on the floor, not the 5-point James Harden that played in the double overtime game against the Bulls. And only scored 11 points, by the way, in the game previous to that. But Sixers take the loss to the Warriors. Then the Sixers go on to the Suns, and they take the loss to the Suns. Tonight is the game. The game of games, ladies and gentlemen. 9:30 tip-off against the Denver Nuggets. 9:30 tip-off against Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. This is the game that matters. This is the game, above all else, that matters. And it's not going to be tonight. It can't be tonight. It better not be tonight. But I know that Doc Rivers better not make it tonight. And I know that Doc Rivers is already having issues with the center position. I know our man Paul Reed didn't get the minutes he should have gotten in the second half of the game, unfortunately. That's a tough pill to swallow, as I think we all realize. But man, oh man, Joel Embiid is not going to get tonight off. All right. This is the game of games. And our friend Keith Pompey of Inquirer.com put this out there regarding Joel Embiid and potentially getting the night off. Joel Embiid, I'm going to need a game off pretty soon. It's 2 things. Like I said, this was after the Suns' loss. It's about being healthy for the playoffs. You know, like tonight, I was very sloppy. Usually when I'm sluggish, that means and sloppy, that means I'm tired. Like you said, I've been playing a lot of minutes. I've been playing every single game. So to add to that, dealing with the calf that Joel Embiid's still dealing with, and the foot, I think that at some point you got to look at the bigger picture, which is the playoffs, obviously. All right. I've been wondering when push was going to come to shove with Joel Embiid about when he was going to get a night off, so to speak. It can't be tonight. It won't be tonight. We can't be robbed of this tonight. And there was talk a couple of years ago, last year as a matter of fact, about Joel Embiid getting rest against dominant centers in the NBA. How about the guy that he's competing against for the MVP award? I'm at the point now, like I've told you many times, that I just want to see the Sixers get out of the second round of the playoffs. The MVP race is so unbelievably secondary to that. But it would be a nice thing to have in the trophy case for Joel Embiid. I'd love to see him win that award. He's going to have to dominate Joker again tonight. When they matched up earlier in the season, Joel Embiid just torched him. Just absolutely owned him. Tonight is going to be another rough game for the Sixers as a team. It's going to be another tough game for Joel Embiid. I think after tonight, you're not going to see him play against the Mavs. You might not even see him play against Toronto, but then you might have him back. You'll have him back for the Milwaukee Bucks game because you got the Bucks still on the schedule, followed by Boston, Miami, then Atlanta, and Brooklyn. The Sixers, simply put, folks, have 8 games left. Denver, Dallas, Toronto, Milwaukee, Boston, Miami, Atlanta, and Brooklyn. I think you're going to have Joel Embiid tonight. I think he gets a break against Brooklyn, a break against Toronto, and then you have him back for Milwaukee, Boston, and Miami. And then you might shut him down for the rest of the year, depending on seeding. But like he said, above all else, it's about being ready for the playoffs. I wish the Sixers were in a better spot than the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference going into this week. But that's where we are right now. This week is another 3-game week. Denver, Dallas, Toronto, and then Sunday they play Milwaukee. So they get a little time off before that. That's where we're at. Let's get to the chat check, see how you guys are doing today. But today is the game of games. Tonight is the game of games. I know you'll be up. I'll be up. I know we'll both be tired tomorrow, but it's the game of games. It's the game of games. Sean Gillespie, good morning. King DV Sports. What's up, King? Good morning. By the way, one last thing. I also was in the dunk tank yesterday for the Flyers Carnival. It's my first time in the dunk tank in about 3 years. The last time I did the dunk tank, I remember looking down at the water and I was like, well, that's gross. Because I think I was like the 4th person in the dunk tank that day. Yesterday, I was the 1st. So that was good. They had a couple of ringers, man. They had a couple of ringers. Tell you that. But no, as always, they always raise a lot of money for charity, and I'm happy to be a part of that. So thanks to the Flyers for an action-packed weekend and the Wings organization. Sean, good morning. DB Sports, good morning. April, good morning. Sean, good morning. Mally. Morning, beautiful people. Puff, puff, pass. Mally, you're so polite. God bless you. Mally, wait. I'll say this again. ESP is still alive. ESP does fine work. I'm a fan of Elliot. I like Elliot a lot. Sean Gillespie, Mally, hello. Everyone being nice. Love that. Mark looking a little snazzy. Really? You like this shirt? This is the shirt that I think Real Prince described as high school math class graph paper. It's kind of what it looks like. It's got the design on it right there. There you go. Bottle your tap water. So here's where I was, Sean. When the alert went out yesterday, I was coming back from the Flyers Carnival, and I knew we didn't have we needed a dinner, so I wanted to make. I actually made meatballs yesterday. I made meatballs. We had some company over, so I made some nice meatballs over bucatini. Nice thick pasta, right? And I'm in there, and here's what I have in my hands. Okay, here's my hand. Literally, I got a couple boxes of bucatini. I got the veal, pork, and beef mix, the meatloaf mix, right, for the meatballs. I got a baguette and a bag of chips and a little, what do you call it? I don't know, maybe like a 16-pack of White Claws for the company. That's what I'm in the express checkout for, all right? And there's 2 people in front of me and no one behind me. All of a sudden, I start hearing people murmur about water, whatever. And then I start seeing people with cases of water all around me. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I look behind me, and the line of people all had 2 cases of water each. Line of people out and around the next aisle. Everywhere I looked, there was people with 2 cases of water, and every aisle, every cashier, every cash register lined down the aisle. And I'm like, what is going on? Now, I don't live in the Philadelphia water district. I don't know. I don't have my water from Philadelphia water. So I don't even know what's going on. I say to the guy in front of me, and I go, hey, man, what am I missing on all this water going on? What's going on? And he goes, they pushed out an alert that everyone needs to buy 2 cases of water so they can be okay drinking water because they're telling us not to drink tap water anymore. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, the water got contaminated or something. I'm like, oh, my God, it's terrible. Meanwhile, I'm just this idiot. I'm literally the only one at the store that did not have 2 cases of water. Literally the only one. I had a case of White Claw. All right? That's where my mind was at. But then, fortunately, we don't have that water anymore. But to all the people that do, good luck to you. Yeah, they're saying it's okay. Hopefully. It's not a very big comfort when you're like, yeah, you shouldn't drink that, but out of caution, let's drink something else. But you're okay. I don't think so. But yeah, so that's tap your or bottle your tap water. Yeah. Maybe I'll just hook up hose up to my tap and then just go to the 20 feet that is from me to Philadelphia and just start dishing it out to people. Travis, we didn't hear the heartfelt vibe from CJ in his last message about more money, like he got it his OnlyFans. Here's the deal. I'm out on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That man, I think, overplayed his hand. I do think that the Eagles only signing Terrell Edmunds to a essentially $2 million deal, to give you the breakdown of the deal one more time here. 1 year, $2 million, $600,000 guaranteed, $250,000 signing bonus, salary $1.08 million, $350,000 fully guaranteed. The one thing I will say about this deal, I think it pretty much confirms that the Eagles weren't willing to spend $8 million on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. The number one priority, maybe he was the first guy they were going to approach with a contract, but I don't know if that meant that they were going to be the first people to approach him with a significant contract. It does kind of make the deal that his agency put out there a little bit more on brand, a little bit more accurate, even though I still think it was somewhat exaggerated to a point. And when the Eagles had an opportunity to deny the report, they said it wasn't exactly structured like that. They were misleading the numbers. I think it was John Clark that had the source that said the numbers were a little bit misleading. Okay. Apparently not that much if you ended up signing your next safety to a very similar contract anyway. Well, at least very similar deal for this upcoming season. PJ, alert. I've changed my mind on how to replace Hoskins. Platoon, Hall, and Sosa at first base for 85% of the season. Mix it up with Bohm only sometimes. Got to give Bohm every opportunity to be comfortable. I like that, PJ. I like that. I'm good with that. Let me just say this. The Real Muto and Castellanos thing, that's, again, in case of emergency. But in case of emergency, I'm breaking glass for Real Muto. I'm not breaking that glass for Castellanos. Hey, guys. Been a minute. Dan Schwartz! Work has had me tied down. What's up, Dan? Nice to see you. PJ saying hi, Dan. Dan, everyone's saying hi, bye. Mally likes the plan, PJ. Dan, it's like the Sixers and Flyers swapped the last few games. It's like something is in the water. I see what you did there, Daniel. Hey, brother, have been backed up. Where the city is a mess, more than usual. Say that again. April can't wait for baseball. Neither can I. Mally start reading and working. What? Dan Schwartz, ready for a worrying start to the Phillies. Sixers get bounced to the second round with heavy MVP talk first. Flyers to flyer. That pretty much is true. I did see Muse on Sunday. Wells Fargo Center. Very nice. The Wings had emo night at the Wells Fargo Center Saturday night. The Wings had emo night. I don't understand what emo music is. I know I got to wear black. I know those are the rules, but I don't know much about emo. Somebody asked me, Philly Captain asked me, what's your favorite emo song? And I go, I have no idea. I know that it like has punk tendencies, but it's sadder, maybe? That could be totally wrong. Don't take my word for it. I don't know. I listen to Frank Sinatra. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Emo. I'm not saying I look down upon it. I'm just saying I don't know anything about it. I don't know much about music anyway. My musical tastes are that of my grandparents. Sorry, just Muse. So good. Pretend Zeke wasn't talking point recently. Oh, man. Dan taking in the Muse to pretend Zeke wasn't a talking point recently. I can see why. Travis, what's going on? Can you predict Howie's next move? He heard that Kevin Gates, he got 6 jobs. He don't get tired. Okay. Dan Schwartz, Mark, your Jacob co-host, Flyers Wings personality, Devin, was delivering Finks hoagies the other day. Finks is awesome. So is her boyfriend, Eric. Yeah. But he pales in comparison to the hoagies he makes. That's funny. No, Eric's a great dude. I had the chance to meet Eric at the Maxwell's when Devin and I were both working there. We got to hang out. He's a great dude. I've had their hoagies. Devin brought him in. The Jacob Eagles coverage at Ocean Casino. They are fantastic. They're Italian. Their spicy Italian is fantastic. Big fan. And Devin's awesome. Devin actually interviewed me while I was in the dunk tank yesterday. And I did not go with aggressive trash talk. I did not go. I went classy. I went, you look like you call your mother right back. That kind of thing. There's a couple of kids that definitely had some cannons on them. I didn't realize the danger when people are hauling those the baseballs at the target. They could bounce off. A couple almost hit me in the head. There's the fence. There's a little fence they put up between me and that. But even that was dangerous. And then there's people standing around. The ricochet is very dangerous in that dunk tank. It's a rough sport. But yes, Devin was great. And the Hoagies are fantastic. Go Farzy, a true athlete and coach. Sean, I am to inspire. People talk about culture. They're talking about me. Never referred to as Franklin Music Hall, even if there's a fire. The E Factory. Wow. I have not been to the Electric Factory. I'm trying to think of the last band I saw at the Electric Factory. It might have been Ben Folds. I might have saw Ben Folds at the Electric Factory. Yeah, that might be my last concert at the Electric Factory. The last time I was at the Electric Factory was the Phillies sports roast of Mitch Williams and Lenny Dykstra. And let me tell you, that was fun. But PJ, I love that line. I'll never call it the Franklin Music Hall, even if there's a fire. Mally, CBD is cool, but I'm more in the TCHC type guy. You don't say. Well, oh, wait, hold on. Boop, boop, boop. Dan Schwartz, well, must have been awesome. I've only seen them at the Wells Fargo Center. That's cool. Franklin Music Hall. Get the hell out of here. Mihai, what's up, Mihai? Good morning, market, everyone. Same old Sixers. Nothing comes easy in Philly sports. That's certainly true. Mihai, disappointment seems to come easy. That's true, Dan. Disappointment does come easy. April, yeah, hard pass. I drank the water when we lived by the base of Willow Grove. Oh, by the base in Willow Grove. And we see how that went. Yee! Don't drink the water. It may be nasty. Well, more nasty than usual. Do you think the Schuylkill is looking at the Delaware being like, skank? That's probably what it's doing right now, in the river, trash talk. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, game of games tonight. Thanks to everyone in the chat check. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Sixers, Denver Nuggets tonight in Denver, 9:30 tip-off. So make sure you get your siesta in. Make sure you get your nap in. Joker comes into the game. Joker and the Nuggets come into this game as 4.5-point favorites. Joker coming into this game, shockingly averaging just 1/10 of a point off the triple-double. He's got 9.9 assists per game, 11.8 rebounds per game, and almost 25 points per game. So Joker obviously having another MVP caliber season. Well, hopefully Joel Embiid gets the trophy this time around. So that's what we're at tonight. 9:30 tip-off for them. Flyers, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. The Flyers are going to go for an unprecedented 4 wins in a row tomorrow night against the Montreal Canadiens. I won't be banging the drum. So hopefully they pull it together. That is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock puck drop. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but in case you needed some nightmare fuel, the Carolina Panthers in their game against the Boston Bruins last night in Carolina, the Carolina Hurricanes wore Hartford Whalers jerseys, sweaters. They wore Hartford Whalers throwback sweaters. For those that missed the history lesson, I believe it was 96, 97. The Carolina Hurricanes entered into existence after 20-some years as the Hartford Whalers. So they donned the jersey of the Hartford Whalers again. Gross. The Hartford Whalers jersey. I was just talking about this the other day, actually, on my way to the Flyers game. The Hartford, my cousin Brad, who came to the game with me. What's up, Brad? We were talking about the old school Hartford Whalers jersey, and it was just such a gorgeous jersey. It's a beautiful jersey. Sweater. I keep calling it a jersey. And then I saw it on the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina against the Boston Bruins. I thought, can't do it. I know. I don't like that. I don't like that even a little bit. It was the old Michael Scott. Nope, don't like that. And I don't. I do not like it at all. That's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen, as far as hockey goes. As far as your Philadelphia Phillies go, my, oh my. We got baseball this week, folks. We got baseball this week, and I know we're all stoked. Today, they got the Blue Jays, 1:07 start time. Taijuan Walker will get the start today for the Phillies, rounding out his spring training, and we'll see how all that goes and more today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Jim Heidenproof's program did a wonderful job, as per usual. My name is Mark Farzy. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow, hopefully talking about a 76ers win over the Denver Nuggets tonight. 9:30 tip-off. See you guys tomorrow. See ya.